time waiver, your connection to the information field.
เนื้องอกหรือมะเร็งเกิดจากหลายเหตุปัจจัยมีทั้งปัจจัยภายในและภายนอกที่ RV Lab เรานำเทคโนโลยีการตรวจวัดตัวบ่งชี้ในแมคโครฟาจจากประเทศเยอรมนีเพื่อตรวจระดับตัวบ่งชี้อะโปเทนและ TKTL1 ช่วยประเมินความเสี่ยงการเกิดเนื้องอกหรือมะเร็งในร่างกายมากกว่า 50 ชนิดทำให้สามารถตรวจเจอได้ตั้งแต่ระยะก่อตัวควรเริ่มตรวจหาการก่อตัวตั้งแต่วันนี้ด้วยความปรารถนาดีจาก RV Lab
A big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen, for the spectacular Jo Lui Thai Puppet Show, a wonderful showcase of Thailand's cultural heritage. I do hope you enjoy that. That's one of the Thainess that we are very proud of. And also, I'd like to say a big thank you to the troops for their active efforts in help preserving and keeping this wonderful art form alive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Hani Cholapansa Narula. Very honored to be here as your host, welcoming you to the Functional Medicine Symposium, the future of the Functional Medicine Symposium. That is a groundbreaking event brought to you by Miskawan Health Group in partnership with the Global Wellness Summit. It's a pleasure to have all of you joining us here in person at the Anantara Siam Bangkok. And for those joining us virtually across the globe, it's great to have you here as well. So thank you so much for your kind participation. Today's event is indeed very special. It's the first of its kind in Asia as we bring the world-leading medical professionals. We have scientists and wellness leaders who will be sharing their insights, their experiences, researches, and also some of the interesting trends in the growing field of functional medicine, which, as you will learn, is a guideline to the preventive and healthcare at the root cause of the disease. Miskawan Health Group is proud to co-host this symposium with the Global Wellness Summit. As a global company, we are dedicated in the advancement and the practice of personalized, precise, and integrated medicine based on the proven medical therapies of Dr. Johannes Wesley. And you'll be hearing from Dr. Wesley as well later in the program. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored by the Thai government who saw the importance of organizing the event, which is a critical step in the development of Thailand's medical sphere. So without further ado, to begin, I would like to call upon Dr. Prapon Tangsikiatgun, Advisory Board to the Minister of Public Health, to deliver the opening remarks. Please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Prapon Tangsikiatgun.
Good morning, esteemed doctors, colleagues, and participants. It's my honor to be here today to welcome you all to Asia's first Functional Medicine Symposium. It's great to see so many professionals joining together to share their knowledge and experience about how medicine and scientific innovations are starting to shape the future of functional medicine here in Asia and especially Thailand. Functional medicine is often mistakenly linked with alternative medicine because of this distinct integrative medical approach. According to the Institute of Functional Medicine is the biology-based approach where doctors focus on identifying and addressing the root cause of disease, unlike the traditional medicine, which is structured to manage symptoms. Globally, functional medicine is still here a way to go before and become mainstream, but with the pioneers here today and with functional medicine experts joining force across the disciplines. To start to the functional medicine approach in gaining momentum, this is a chip where we will see more effective and comprehensive medical service provided to a public who are more educated than even before and demand more comprehensive solutions to their health problems is to the approach and rely upon the managing and masking symptoms. Thailand Ministry of Public Health recognized the importance of the application of functional medicine within the healthcare system. Functional medicine is now an integral part to visionary plan to move Thailand to be the medical hub of Asia, which will significantly benefit the well-being of Thai and global citizens alike. The aim of the symposium is to provoke the discussion and raise awareness of wellness and functional medicine communities about the future of healthcare that is both more environmentally friendly and sustainable. I sincerely hope that all of you get some insightful gems of information during today's symposium, and that you wish to explore functional medicine further of use of your practice and for the benefit of your personal health and that of your loved ones. Thank you to Ms. Goan Health Group for the support of the Global Wellness Summit for Organization Asia First of many functional medicine symposiums. I now declare the first functional medicine symposium open. Thank you and wish the meeting successful for further discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prapon Tangsi Kiatgun, Advisory Board to the Minister of Public Health, Thailand. In line with the national strategy, which aims to drive the wellness economy, Thailand is well positioned as a global health and wellness hub. And with symposiums as such today, I believe that it will help provoke thoughts and also raise awareness on the functional medicine in the country to help answer to the many diverse health needs we see today. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have two speakers from the National Charter who will be delivering their remarks. Mr. Pornarit Chuanchaisit and Dr. Kampon Sri Watanakun. I'd now like to call upon Mr. Pornarit Chuanchaisit from the National Charter to deliver his remarks. A big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello and welcome to the symposium. The Future of Functional Medicine Symposium 2022. Firstly, I have to thank you, all international participants. Welcome back to Thailand. Sawadee krap. Right now, we try to think beyond the COVID-19 because, as we know, we don't wear masks anymore, or maybe in some places. And wellness industry, wellness economics has an enormous value of money. From data of Global Wellness Institute, $4.4 trillion US dollars 2020. That's enormous money. And, you know, I have to tell you frankly, I don't have background in medicine, wellness, anything. I have a marketing degree and real estate business. But luckily, in wellness industry, it has wellness real estate, which I know well. But I have the big mentor, good mentor of mine, Professor Dr. Kampon, who tell me a lot about wellness, about well-being, about holistic, everything. I don't want to say that much because I don't know deep. As you know, right now Thailand try to legalize about hemp plant, cannabis plant. In the next month, it's gonna be legalized to grow hemp and cannabis. And we try to go in direction with the treatment, caring, everything about the hemp and cannabis also. Thailand will use wellness as a new engine of growth. As you know, after the pandemics, the economics of the world is not so well. But we think for the wellness, when we add with Thainess, it's going to be something very impressive to you and to all of the world people. Telling you about the National Charter, it's a group of hundreds and hundreds of people volunteer to join hand with the government sector. We have doctors, we have academics, we have a business entity, we have researcher, any kind of people that want to join and help growing Thailand together. Now we focus in health and wellness. We have three objectives to push it through right now. Firstly, we want to help the government to do the Thailand Wellness Hub to build Thailand one of the biggest hubs in the world. Secondly, Thailand Wellness Economic Corridor. This is the policy of the government to push through this year and next coming year. And we will have the Andaman Wellness Corridor, which includes 6 provinces in the south, Phuket, Phang Nga, and Krabi, and other provinces. The third direction, we try to build up and establish Wellness Council of Thailand in order to unify related key sectors in wellness ecosystem together. It's not happened yet, but we joined hand in hand with the government sector, try to build it and make it happen this year. Lastly, hope everyone enjoy your stay in Thailand and hope you will come back again and again. Thank you for coming to this symposium. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณค่ะ And that was Dr. Pornarit Chuanchaisit from the National Charter. Thank you so much for sharing some of the health policies of Thailand to drive the health and wellness economy from legalizing cannabis and also establishing the Andaman Wellness Corridor. Very interesting indeed. That will certainly help build a comprehensive wellness ecosystem. Also, we have another member from the National Charter who will be delivering his remarks. Please warmly welcome our next speaker, Dr. Kampon Siwattanagun. A big round of applause, please.
Dr. Papan Tang Sikhet-kun, Advisor Board to the Ministry of Public Health, Madam Susie Ellis, Chair and CEO of Global Wellness Summit, Mr. David Bom, Chair and CEO of Mr. Kwan Health Group, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Thailand National Charter for Health, it is my great pleasure and honor to participate in this symposium of functional medicine. At present, Thailand is trying to move forward to promote wellness tourism. And I would like to have this opportunity to share with you about our future plan. At present, we are hoping to provide what I call holistic wellness to the world population. As you know, holistic wellness will include physical health, emotional health, and also spiritual health. On top of that, we like to be better known for the world, to be the wellness hub of Asia. We have worked very hard to move ahead. For today, I would like to thank all of the organizing committee members to make it happen. I just like to share a few words why it's necessary to participate with functional medicine. Actually, we are now coming to the what I call next normal, and we must learn how to change ourselves. As a medical practitioner, I always believe that prevention is better than cure. So therefore, would it be better if we can prevent chronic diseases, also cancer, by several means, including functional medicine? There have been many disease problems that conventional medicine cannot be adequately managed, including stress, also fear, and many other problems related to emotion. As far as spiritual is concerned, we would like to engage in so-called energy medicine, which is going to be a new trend of medical practice. By doing so, I would like to thank Susie for coming to help to let the rest of the world know about us. We still have a long way to go, but together we will be successful. I would like to congratulate that we have the chance to get together. I would like also to suggest that we start to have the word called innovation in making evidence-based medicine to prove the concept that we can provide to our clients or customers. I also believe in personalized medicine. All humans are not the same. Even you may suffer from one disease at the same age, at the same sex. Treatment cannot be given by standard way. It has to be flexible and suitable for each individual. I also would like to see that in the future, we can promote more of this innovation branch of medicine called functional medicine, with the hope that the world will be a better place to live. Thank you for all foreign participants coming from away from home. I hope that you would like also to enjoy the rest of your stay. Please learn more about what Thailand can offer. Thank you very much for your kind participation. Thank you.
A big round of applause, please, for Dr. Kampon Sri Wattanakunt. Thank you so much for your inspiring messages, sir. Thailand is well placed to become the leader in the wellness industry, and that can happen through the support of the government and stakeholders in the business. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, up next is an opening address by Miss Susie Ellis. Miss Susie Ellis is the co-founder, chair, and CEO of the Global Wellness Summit, the foremost gathering of international business, academic, and government leaders in the $4.5 trillion global wellness economy. She is also the chair and CEO of the nonprofit Global Wellness Institute, considered the industry's leading global research and educational resource. Recognized as a leading authority in the wellness industry, Ms. Ellis is frequently quoted in major news outlets around the world and is a popular speaker at global events. We are very honored to have her here with us today. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Ms. Ellis.
Thank you, Bunny. Thank you very much. I am delighted to be here, and this is the culmination of a conversation that David Bohm and I had a while back, and we felt that there would be value in bringing together a variety of people to discuss the topic of functional medicine. So David, who is a visionary, and we share that, and so thank you for allowing me to be here today. I wanted to give you a little bit of background of what I have been doing in the last, my entire career, but especially in the last 15 years. That's when we started the Global Wellness Summit. And this is the mantra that we have used since that time. What can we accomplish together that none of us can easily do on our own? And I think the previous addressees has also mentioned that the collaboration, working together, with government and business and all of us together, we all come from different backgrounds, but there are things that we can do together that none of us can do on our own. And I think I'm very enthused about that because of the history that we've experienced with these two entities. The Global Wellness Summit started 16 years ago. We met in New York. That time it was the Global Spa Summit. And there was no figures, there was no industry. Wellness was not even a term that was used very often back then. But we had the vision of we wanted to join together, shaping the future, and that became our mission. A few years later, actually in 2015, we started the Global Wellness Institute, which is a nonprofit, because we found that there is a way to get together and share in especially creating research that we would then share with the world. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But the Global Wellness Institute's mission is empowering wellness worldwide. So what have we done together that we couldn't do on our own? Well, the annual summits are a big part of that, just like we're getting together here. And I hope this is not the only time. Hopefully every year, maybe even more times, there'll be gatherings. And what we found with the summits, they started in New York, but we've been all over the world. We felt it was important to be global, that we wanted to go to different parts of the world and learn what's happening in India, what's happening in Istanbul, what's happening, we were in Singapore, we've been in Mexico City. And what happens at all of those places is we had short remarks on the stage, as we do today, but then people met each other at breaks, at lunches, and then there's a lot of business that got done, a lot of collaboration between events. So that is something I'm very proud of. There's many, many businesses happening that were catalyzed at the summits. The other thing that we have done that I think has been maybe our most successful aspect is we learned early on that we didn't have any research. There was no ecosystem of our gatherings. When we got together in New York, every business was fragmented. People didn't talk with each other. I remember the whole hot springs arena. Nobody from one country would talk to the other. But we got together and decided that we would pool some resources to fund research. Because research is expensive. You know, we spend about $250,000 to $500,000 a year on research. So if we get 20, 30 people to put some money in, we can afford that. And that's what we did. And so now, have some of you seen the Global Wellness Institute research? Have you used it, I hope? And I've talked with people. It's available on the Global Wellness Institute website, and it's free. Because we have sponsors, we decided early on we'll give it away, and that has been a real key because the research is then available and people, investors, governments, businesses can use that research, and the numbers have been very reliable. So that was a key of something we could do together that really no one would have done on their own. We also wrestled with the definitions, which I know is the same thing with functional medicine. There are various definitions. There's a little bit of gray area, a little bit of fuzziness about the definitions. But we have found the definition that our researchers put forward is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. And over the last years, we have found that we can do fairly well with the term wellness in general, even if we don't all agree on exactly the definition of it. The idea of it is that people are healthier and that a lot of it is their self-directed efforts. This is what we call the bubble chart. This is probably what we are most known for. Maybe you've seen this because over the years, we were able to and this was an evolution. We started just with the spa industry and hot springs and a little bit of wellness tourism in 2012. But now we have a whole ecosystem, and the figures of 4.4 trillion in 2020, because there was a little bit of a decline because of COVID. But the size of the bubbles are in proportion to the revenue per year. And so when these figures come out, and they've been very reliable, you can see that personal care and beauty is a very large bubble, as is physical activity, healthy eating and nutrition, and weight loss. Wellness tourism, and I know that's something very, very interesting to Thailand and important. Spas, you have a great background there as well. Wellness real estate is one of the newer bubbles, and actually the latest bubble that was added was mental wellness. We added that a few years ago. But the traditional complementary medicine, public health, and personalized medicine is also part of this. So there's lots of ways to look at wellness and a lot of different ways to connect with these different sectors. I included this slide because I thought you might find, I guess to me it's the ultimate in making a difference. We, of course, have people downloading our research all of the time, and we ask people, where they're from before they download. And you can see here that this is only a smattering of companies, but you can see it's, Accor, Boston Consulting, Johnson & Johnson, McKinsey, the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, Shiseido, it's really a lot of decision makers around the world. So when I look at what we've been able to do together, I realize that this is a statement of trust, that people trust our figures, and that then, because we've given them away, we let people use the figures, and then they can make better decisions, investment, and so on. So I thought I would include that. And by the way, our research this year, we do one study every year, is on wellness policy. So we're finding that governments in particular around the world are very interested in wellness and including wellness in their budgets and for their people and for their businesses. So the wellness policy, that will be available in at the end of November, or actually end of October, beginning of November at our summit this year, which will be in Tel Aviv. This might be the best example of working together. I don't know if you know some of these people. Wellness in the beginning did not have a lot of support from the medical arena. In fact, we were a little bit on, medical people were not so thrilled with the term wellness. But when we did our summit here in 2017 in Palm Beach, we had with us Dr. Andrew Weil, Dr. Mehmet Oz, Dr. Dean Ornish, Dr. Michael Roisens from the Cleveland Clinic, Alyssa Appel, who wrote about the telomeres, Louis Schwartzberg, who's a cinematographer, Sue Harmsworth, who started ESPA and became a powerhouse. And the lady next to her is the medical director of Lanzerhof in Europe. And the lady next to her was, or is still, the head of Weight Watchers. And then we have a gentleman from the Mayo Clinic. And finally, Dr. Richard Carmona, who was the 17th Surgeon General of the US and is on our board. And so when we got this collection of people together, before our event, I had spoken with many of them, and I asked them the question that I ask a lot of people. What's working? What is really helping people make lifestyle changes? And you know what they said? It was such a surprise, really, to me. So I talked to Dr. Dean Ornish, and he said, what's working is my program. Okay. I asked Michael Roizen. He said, it's my program 6+2. Dean Ornish has a reversing heart disease program. And almost without fail, each of them said that their program is working. And so the dilemma is, well, that's fantastic, but we can't wait for the whole world to learn your program. And, it's pretty difficult to think about any one of these people doing what needs to be done for more people to have health and wellness. So speaking with Dr. Richard Carmona, we thought about what could be an overarching goal that we could all get behind. And this is what we came up with. The Wellness Moonshot. A world free of preventable disease. And all of the people on that stage, they said, yeah, I can get behind that. I don't have to just talk about my program, but I can support a world free of preventable disease. After all, the figures, I know they vary a little bit, 70% of healthcare costs and problems with health has to do with preventable disease, lifestyle. So we can all get behind that. And that's something we accomplished. We now have 150 million people that are part of this moonshot, and it will become more impactful as time goes on. Functional medicine, I will tell you that I was somewhat new to the idea of functional medicine. I'd heard the term, and I had met Dr. Mark Hyman at the Cleveland Clinic shortly after he opened the functional medicine clinic there. But it had always been a bit confusing to me as to what exactly is functional medicine. And so I thought in preparation for today that I would do a little research. And so here's some definitions that I found. Already it was mentioned, the Institute for Functional Medicine. This is how they define functional medicine: determines how and why illness occurs and restores health by addressing the root causes of disease for each individual. I certainly hear the term root cause often. Oxford Dictionary, medical practice or treatments that focus on optimal functioning of the body and its organs, usually involving systems of holistic, and I've heard that term a lot, or alternative medicine. And then Dr. Mark Hyman, he has been quoted as saying, it is the medicine of why. A little bit of history that I'm learning with functional medicine. I guess it is Jeffrey Bland who started the Institute for Functional Medicine. Do you know what year that was? Any idea? I don't know if you've heard of it, but I came to learn that the Institute started in 1991. So here was someone who started trumpeting the term functional medicine and has done so ever since. And then Dr. Mark Hyman, you see there, he started in 2014 the clinic at the Cleveland Clinic. And that is an important step because it gave a lot of credibility when Michael Roizen, who is also on our board, brought in Dr. Mark Hyman. Functional medicine started becoming something that is talked about more and more. There's also challenges with functional medicine, and you probably have run into them. One thing I did is I went to Wikipedia. I know a lot of people do that for definitions, and the Wikipedia is not currently very kind to the term functional medicine. It uses the word pseudoscience and quackery. And so one thing that needs to happen is we need to help get that changed. And that's Wikipedia. You can contribute to definitions and information. So that's something we could do together that could be helpful. YouTube has some people who are, Dr. Harriet Hall gave a talk, Functional Medicine is Dysfunctional. Well, it's good to see and hear what's out there because some of this can be easily addressed as a group, and especially with evidence base that has already been mentioned is so important. So I wanted to leave with this thought as maybe a mantra for today. What can we accomplish together that none of us could easily do on our own? And the experience I've had with the spa world and the wellness world is that we can do a lot of things together, cooperating. We might not all agree on everything, but in general, I do think that functional medicine, I would say that I'm very bullish on functional medicine, and I know there's work to be done. But in closing, I will mention that the Global Wellness Institute, I feel like we want to be more involved in collaborating with you. So at our summit in Tel Aviv, we are going to add functional medicine to the agenda. And I'm also going to propose, and we'll talk about this after, that the Global Wellness Institute, maybe we could develop an initiative on functional medicine. And in particular, I like the term approach, the functional medicine approach. That feels very inclusive. And as we've done with a lot of the things with the Global Wellness Institute, we can also help perhaps elevate this discussion in particular for Asia, and a new term that I'm learning here, Thai-ness, because you do have a great history And so bringing that up and spreading that, we can do that together. And as part of the Global Wellness Summit and the Global Wellness Institute, I'm here to help and collaborate. So please seek me and let's see how we can work together. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, and I look forward to continuing this conversation, not only at the breaks and at lunch, but between now and the next time we meet. So thank you very much for having me and allowing me to be a catalyst.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ellis, for underlining the importance of functional medicine and how it will help shape healthcare and the wellness world. Thank you so much. Yes.
The music.
The music.
The music.
Shall we let the music play?
Yes, let's let the music play.
All right, music, please. So then we can explain to our participants what the music is for.
Yes, what the music is for.
This is one of the favorite tunes, folk tunes in Thailand. It's called Khang Khao Kin Kloi, which literally translates to bats eating bananas.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to go bananas, but okay, so please explain.
So I've been seeing here on my countdown clock that I have 5 seconds left. And so one of the things that we do typically at our summit and symposiums is we have some music that comes on about that time to let the speaker know it's time to wrap up. And so I want to apologize ahead of time to all of the speakers. We only give short slots for people to speak. And so we have a little bit of an aid because most people are not used to speaking for a short period of time. So I like the music, not knowing what it means. So you might hear that, and I wanted you to hear it first with me. So my time is up.
All right, a big
Thank
hand
you.
one more time, ladies and gentlemen, for the co-founder, chair, and CEO of Global Wellness Summit. Thank you so much, Ms. Susie Ellis. Moving along, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call upon Mr. David Bohm, chairman of Miskawan Health Group, to the stage to give us a brief introduction as to what to expect throughout today's program. Please put your hands together to welcome the chairman of Miskawan Health Group.
Good morning. Dr. Papon, Kun Ponarit, Dr. Kampol, Susie, and all of the distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Functional Medicine Symposium for 2022. As it's already been mentioned, this is the first time the Functional Medicine Symposium has been held in Thailand, and as earlier speakers mentioned, there's been a lot of discussion about functional medicine and what is functional medicine, and really why are we here. So as Susie mentioned, earlier this year we started talking, and I thought that why not bring a group of esteemed doctors and scientists together to help the community at large, and particularly here in Thailand, to understand what is functional medicine and what is the future of functional medicine. So that's why we're here. I think my favorite way of describing functional medicine is our medical director always says that the best doctor is your own body. So that's to say, functional medicine is enhancing your immune system and making your body as strong as it possibly can be, so that you're going to be able to ward off all kinds of pathogens and bacteria and anything else that comes along in your life. So that, to me, is what functional medicine. Unfortunately, a lot of medicine has sort of developed into a system where we get a pill for what ails us. You go to see the doctor, you have something wrong with a symptom, and you get a pill for that. But as the definitions of functional medicine mentioned that Susie put up on the board, there's not enough consideration about what is actually behind those symptoms and what is actually wrong. So Dr. Kampol, my good friend, mentioned about holistic wellness, and I think holistic is a very overutilized word, but I think it does understand very well and describes very well what functional medicine is. It is actually a holistic approach. We're not a collection of organs. We're actually one organism, and we need to be treated that way. And I think we should also very, very importantly stress that functional medicine doesn't work on its own. We're not dogmatic. Functional medicine works very well with conventional medicine, and I like to think that we can take the best of conventional medicine and functional medicine and keep it for the benefit of our patients and the people that we're actually looking after, so that they get the best of all worlds. So, how did we come to be here in Thailand? So when I got to know Dr. Wesley over some years for being a patient, I saw the kind of therapies that Dr. Wesley was prescribing, not just for preventative, but also curative. And so I said to Dr. Wesley, when you're going to be retiring, how are you going to share all this knowledge with other medical practitioners, and how will they be able to get all this incredible experience that you have? And he said, well, I never thought about that. I've been too busy treating people. So I thought, okay, that's fair enough. So I said to him, why don't we actually do something where this knowledge you built up over the 20 years of practice as a functional medicine practitioner can be shared with other people? And Dr. Wesley thought that was a reasonable idea. So we started talking about, well, where will we do this? And Germany was out because, unfortunately, Germany sort of becoming over-regulated. And we thought about all the places in the world where we could come. And because I've lived in Asia most of my life, I was thinking of Asia. I have a very strong association with Thailand. And so we thought about Thailand. Thailand has a very good reputation around the world. People love to come and visit Thailand. In 2019, before COVID-19, there was 40 million people that came to visit Thailand. Also, Thailand has a very strong history of medical tourism. So that's a very good thing too. And what was really attractive to Dr. Wesley was that in Thailand, they have this wonderful, long-established Thai traditional medicine. And that means that when doctors go to study medicine, they learn about not just conventional Western medicine, but also Thai traditional medicine. And if you look at functional medicine, how it's approached, and you look at Thai traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine, it's actually not too dissimilar, because again, you're looking at the whole body and you're thinking about this person as one organism. So the Thailand became an automatic selection for us, and we decided to open up in Thailand. We were fortunate to meet a young Thai man, Kun Varit, who's also here today. He'll be presenting later in the afternoon. And he helped us to get this whole thing going in Thailand. And I have to tell you that for the most part, we didn't know what we were doing. I certainly didn't know what I was doing. And I often like to describe it that, building up Mystical One Health Group, it's like flying a plane and you're still building the aircraft, you're putting the parts on as you go along. So we're still kind of like that, and we're still flying along as we go, but we try and do the best we can, and I think the focus was always on our patients, and I think that's the most important thing, and the rest of it, it's coming up, bit by bit. So I always hold a debt of gratitude to Dr. Wesley, and by the way, funny things happen. You start a business and the business ends up saving your own life, because in December 19, I was struck down with dengue fever. I didn't know it was dengue fever. My wife and I were in Paris at the time, and the doctors in Paris treated me with paracetamol, aspirin, and Augmentin, an antibiotic. So those of you who are medically inclined will know that that's not a good thing to do for dengue fever. I came back, luckily I came back to Bangkok. Dr. Wesley was here, and Dr. Wesley and our two original doctors, Thai doctors, Dr. Eki and Dr. Emi, got together and literally saved my life. When I got back to Bangkok, my platelet count was around 20,000, and Dr. Eki told me that if that was the case in the hospital, they would have put me in the ICU. So it's funny how things work out. What happens in life, you start a business and the business ends up saving your own life. So I think I have to say it was a good thing to do. So you already heard from Susie, and I just want to reiterate that we're so delighted to have Global Wellness Summit here today in partnership with us, because we're a small company. This is the first time we've attempted something like this, and so to have the might and the strength and the 16 years of experience of Global Wellness Summit brought to bear the ability of our little company to bring all these wonderful, esteemed doctors and scientists to speak today, and also to bring a global audience, as well as the people who are here today with us in Bangkok, and there's over 200 of us here today. There's also another few hundred who are watching us from around the world, which is wonderful to know that we're showcasing not just functional medicine, but also Thailand to the whole world. And I think that you'll all agree that we want to try and get more and more people back to Thailand. The government of Thailand has got a great initiative going, the Medical and Wellness Initiative. They're putting a lot of efforts into that. They're actually courting Susie now to bring the Global Wellness Summit here to Thailand next year. We hope that can happen. We're going to try very hard and see if that'll work. But it's really great to hear from Susie that in 2022 in Israel, in Tel Aviv, there's going to be some talk about functional medicine, because that's the whole idea of today, is to start talking about functional medicine and just let people know that there's a very good way of looking at health, and not just conventional medicine, but complementary with functional medicine. And I think Dr. Kampol mentioned already that we can't really keep treating everybody according to guidelines, because for most people it doesn't work. We have to have individual medicine, integrated medicine, precision medicine, because otherwise everyone's going to be treated the same, whether you're a man or a woman, or whether you're from Australia or from Thailand or from Africa. But unfortunately, we're all different people. I guess fortunately, we're all different people, and we all need to be treated in a different way. And a lot of the Western medication that's been developed in the West actually doesn't suit very well the Asian DNA. So what does suit the Asian DNA? A lot of the very fantastic Thai herbal products, and there's over 2,000 approved Thai herbal products here, and we're working with Maiprasert University to bring more of those Thai herbal products to market for conditions, and not just colds and flu, but all kinds of conditions that are very, very important in treating modern viruses, modern diseases. And there's a very well-known herb in Thailand called Phatalai Joan, which has been used very successfully in treating COVID-19. It's anecdotal at the moment because there hasn't been enough research on it, but I'm sure it's going to be researched and found to be a very effective treatment for COVID-19 and other viruses. The very important part of today is that we want everyone to start talking about functional medicine. So we want to have a conversation. So everyone who's here today, please feel free during the break time to come up and talk to our distinguished speakers and to say, you know, what about this? What about that? And what did you mean by this? So we want to have the conversation and continue that conversation for many, many years to go. So it's very important, just briefly, to thank our partners here in Thailand, our medical partners in particular. So I mentioned already Maiprasert University, and they're going to be our research partners on a lot of these substances that we use in our treatment for our patients. The Thonburi Hospital Group, BDMS, Wincell, and Shivat Wellness Retreat in Phuket. And also, I should also thank Kun Vivan, our shareholder from Max Image, who helped to arrange this wonderful event. And of course, the Global Wellness Summit, the team at Global Wellness Summit, they did a great job in helping our team, led by Kun Nitya, our CEO, and Kun Richard, our COO, in putting all together this incredible event to make sure everybody can learn a lot and can understand exactly what we're trying to do with the functional medicine. So I also want to mention that we're trying to do some things that are innovative in healthcare. I think Dr. Kampol already mentioned that we want to bring innovation to Thailand, and that's what we want to do. So one of the things is we want to bring innovation to recording people's health. And so I had an example, my personal case last month. I was in Australia. I went to the dentist, and the dentist takes x-rays, and at my age, 65, you know, the teeth are getting old, and he wants to compare my teeth x-ray today to my teeth x-ray several years ago. But unfortunately, the previous practice for this dentist, who I've been seeing for 30 years, has imploded, and all the records are gone. So I can't compare, he can't compare what happened to my teeth three years ago to what they are today. So I thought that's ridiculous. There has to be a way of centralizing people's health records, and now we have this amazing technology called blockchain. And so I think that we'd like to work with our partners here in Thailand and around the world to try and develop an individual health identity where people can see their own records and the people that they'd like to give access to, their doctors and their other health professionals. And wherever you are in the world, you can get access to this record, because at the moment, all of us probably have fragmented health records scattered all around the country or all around the world, and we actually have to do something to try and bring that all together. And we then can use some of this incredible new technology that's coming out now. And there's one in particular I'd like to mention. We're working with our partner, Dr. Bert Stefan, who you'll hear from later, in Medivectum, and he is working on a test which just involves some urine, and you have it's a metabolic test, and so from that urine you can find many different consequences of your health, and that information can then go up on your health record and can be accessed from anywhere, together with the treatments subsequently that are mandated for that. And so the other thing is that at the moment, if someone wants to access your health record, maybe a pharmaceutical company wants to know about a certain criteria of people, then they're going to go to the health provider and they're going to ask that health provider for the access, and that health provider might get some benefit for that, but you won't, even though it's your medical record. So you should be the one that's getting a benefit of that. So if your medical record is securely locked on the blockchain, then you'll allow people to see, well, I'm Australian, I'm Caucasian, I'm 65 years old, I've got these conditions, and I might be of interest to certain pharmaceutical companies, or any company indeed looking at health. So in that respect, we want to make sure that when the pharmaceutical company or whoever comes knocking on your door and wants your information, they come to you and they say, yes, Mr. Bohm, would you like to give us access to the information? Yes, I would. Here's $100 or whatever it might be at the time. So as well as bringing all the information together in one location for the benefit of the patient, they can also monetize their information, and why not? And so also the other benefit is that if you're not happen to be in your home country and you need some health treatment for whatever reason, the medical practitioner, if you give access to that person, can just go on the blockchain and find that information, and it's all there. Anything that's happened to you in the past. So to me, that's someone's going to do it, so it may as well be we collectively, and we're going to do that and make sure that people's health records are kept in a proper way, and everyone then has their own individual health identity, and it gets back again to this point that everybody has to be treated individually as one person. So the only other thing I'd like to mention is that as part of this progression to the metaverse, to Web3, Miskawan Health is going to bring some innovative protocols through to do that. We're going to have some membership programs which will focus very much on long COVID, which we can treat very well. And Dr. Wesley says long COVID is nothing new. It's just a reactivation of dormant viruses in the body, and you'll hear a lot more about that from Dr. Jacob, especially Epstein-Barr virus, which in fact is much worse than COVID-19, according to the scientists and the doctors that we associate with. So it's going to be a lot of benefits to people as the innovation takes hold and as the innovation progresses towards the metaverse and Web3. And another innovation is that when you've had enough time on the stage, you get the music, and then you have to stop talking. So, so that's Susie, I get the hint, and I hope that everyone has a great time here. And I'm looking forward to hearing all this incredible news from the doctors and the scientists from Thailand and around the world. Thank you so much for being here today, and look forward to talking to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bohm, Chairman of Miskawan Health Group. And that music, the same music, is a gentle reminder that time is up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we heard the overview of today's event from Mr. Bohm. The speaker lineup is stellar. Content is evidence-based, and the topics to be explored very interesting, and a wide range of issues related to functional medicine. So without further ado, I'd like to move on to our next topic, Healthspanning for the future, how biohacking is shaping the future for improved quality of life, by Assistant Professor Dr. Patana Teng-umnuay, nephrologist and anti-aging specialist here from Bangkok, Thailand. Over 20 years of being a nephrologist, Dr. Patana received his medical degree with first-class honors from Chulalongkorn University. And if you're like us and would live a long and healthy life, life? Well, the upcoming presentation from Dr. Patana is a reliable source for us to use to our knowledge and advantage to stay young. But will it be forever? Well, we have to find out from our experts. So please warmly welcome Dr. Patana. A big hand, please.
Sawadee krab. Good morning, everybody. Conventional medicine believes that aging is unavoidable. Do you believe that? Do you believe that we have to succumb with our age? This is aging syndrome that we all know and we're waiting for. What about cardiovascular disease? Cancer, anybody wants it? Or infections and die from COVID-19? The problem because they believe that disease cannot be prevented. The hospital provides the end-stage care. It's always organ-specific. They treat laboratory results and they don't care about the whole body of us. So if someone tells you the functional medicine is dysfunctional, Susan, just tell them actually it's conventional medicine that's turned into dysfunctional medicine. Someone believes that the aging is always programmed. Can we biohack this program and stay younger? I believe that because I've done that for 15 years and now I'm just celebrate my 60 years old birthday with happy faces and happy, healthy body. But to do that, you have to understand first, it has to be scientific, not just some voodoo drink, voodoo injection, and you think you're gonna stay healthy. Second, it's lifelong process. So whatever you do, you need to make sure that it is safe. Some cardiologists say that, oh, take statin for the rest of your life and you will not have cardiovascular disease. They are wrong. First of all, you still have cardiovascular disease. And second, you will have hepatitis, kidney failure. So in that case, even though you live long, it's called lifespan, but it's not. It's not health span that you need. And if you don't believe, you say, oh, I wait for more study. Let you wait, because we only have one lifespan to live. Maybe it's for your next generation. Maybe it's time that you want to believe you already have stroke, you're already sitting in a wheelchair. Good luck to you. So I believe, and I've been doing it. So if you want to believe, do it now. So why we are aged? Science teaches us the biology of aging, oxidative stress, glycation end product, inflammations, toxin, acidosis, and stress. If you behave badly, you will be Mr. C. You behave a little bit better, Mr. B, and we hope all of us will die one day with the good health span. Let's start with oxidative stress. No, it's not about antioxidant, it's about caloric restriction. In other words, eat less, you live longer. Cut down on your favorite croissant, your big chunk of fat, right, Mr. Ponarit, my friends, that you call kamu. Biohacker has a new technique that we call intermittent fasting. It means you eat within 8 periods. It means you eat twice a day, 8 hours, and then you skip all the calories for 16 hours. You should do it at least twice a week. Better yet, 5 days a week, or 365 days a year. But if you cannot do that, try to do intermittent as much as possible. However, the wrong things that people misunderstand about intermittent fasting is, oh, we have only 8 hours to eat. We have to eat everything. So if you eat 2 meals equal to 10 meals, then intermittent fasting will not work because you eat too much. It's based on the word caloric restrictions. If you don't understand this, please talk to Demi Moore or talk to Angelina Jolie. They are queens of caloric restrictions. And during the fasting period, no fruits, no juice, no anything with calories, okay? Just mineral water, just the one that present in front of you right now. What about how we can biohack it? Everybody loves food. We already eat. And we pretend that we haven't eaten anything at all. How we can fool the body? Here comes some supplements that the biohacker that they call caloric restrictions mimetics. Okay? Sirtuin is the proteins in the body, is the NAD, histone deacetylase. It helps move FOXO1, the transcriptional factors, to enhance the good genes such as antioxidant gene, anti-inflammatory genes, and inhibit inflammations genes. So, how we can stimulate sirtuin? We need NAD because sirtuin, the name by itself, NAD dependent histone deacetylase. So we need NAD. But then again, if you want to stimulate this histone deacetylase, we need to go fasting, but we don't want to do fasting because we love to eat. Then use resveratrol. Like David Sinclair said, you have a car, we call biohacking car. It won't run unless it has gas and fuel. Sirtuin is a car. NAD is a fuel. And resveratrol is us who push the pedal. So, resveratrol upregulate the good genes and downregulate the bad genes. But you don't want to take resveratrol, right? Go fasting, stop eating, no lunch for you. Bye-bye. Then when we talk about oxidative stress, people always ask about antioxidants. 5 to me. Okay, I cannot go through the entire set of antioxidants, but one word. The best antioxidants come from your food. Okay, choose different colors, colorful food, different antioxidants. Well, this is my favorite words. I always say that sugar is toxin. Do I eat sugar? Yeah, but I'm going to tell you soon that how to avoid this sugar by add some fibers into it. Sugar is toxin. So next time, if your husband calls you sugar, slap him. This is the breakfast nowadays in America. People tell me, oh, the breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And they serve me this. I said, this is not breakfast. It is toxin. Don't give me. The best sugar need to have fibers because right now, ultra-processed food like this increase mortality risk. And sad for you, you may not know that milk also contains sugars. Lots and lots of it. 1 glass of milk has sugar equal to half glass of soft drink and lactose-free milk. They did it by digest lactose with the lactase enzyme. So lactose switched into galactose and glucose. So from 1 molecule of sugar, it turned into 2. So lactose-free milk doesn't mean it's sugar-free. It has more sugar. Choose carbohydrate with high fibers. Supplements if you might, but fibers in Thailand are plenty. One of the good fibers that I've been taking almost every day is called grains. It contains omega-9, omega-3 sometimes, and MCT oil. If you want to biohack your sugar, try benfotiamine and pyridoxamine, a special vitamin B1 and B6. One thing you have to know is inflammation is the root cause of all diseases. Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease. Doctors don't know, they give you only statin and aspirin. They never give you fish oil. They never explain why you have inflammations. Obesity is a part of inflammations. And I'm not trying to body shaming you. We are the period of what? Real size beauty. Let me say, if you want to be real size beauty, I understand you may be sharp when you're young and you exercise, you eat well. Good for you. But real size beauty means you need to be real size healthy. You cannot have diabetes, hypertension, and other diseases. Choose the fat you eat correctly, exercise regularly. That's how to use biohacking. I'm sorry, the slides is quite a lot because I want to show you there's a lot more you need to learn and need to know. But I'd be happy to share slides with you. Look at the bottom, write it down, www.heatantiaging.com. heatantiaging.com, and I will share the slides in PDF file with you. My team will send you in exchange for your email address. It's free, right? So, anti-inflammatory drugs is the omega-9, such as the olive oil, I'm taking it every day, and omega-3, such as fish oil. Unfortunately, we live in the toxic environment. This hotel room, they say it's free of COVID-19. They spray these hotel rooms with disinfectant chemicals. Everywhere I go, so I believe in the morning, you guys, when they clean up the hotel, they see dead cockroaches. COVID-19 will be dead. If this cockroach cannot tolerate it, what about us? So anywhere I go, I call these hotels, every hotel is called cockroach killing hotel. Filled with chemicals, so the toxin is everywhere. So principle of detoxification is a long story, but one thing is you have to preserve something called your gut microbiome well, your body microbiome, stop use antiseptics, and avoid toxic drugs. Nowadays, microbiome dysfunction is everywhere. You know, sometimes getting dirty is a little bit, play with your dogs. It helps prevent asthma and a lot of autoimmune disease. Well, I have nieces and nephews, they're swimming with their dogs. So it means they eat a lot of dogs, flea dog, poops or whatever, and they never get sick. Stop using your antiseptics and antibiotics. After all, COVID-19 is virus, why you take antibiotics for it? Eat more probiotics and prebiotic food or take supplements. I want to remind you that drugs are toxin. It makes conventional medicine dysfunctional. You think pharmaceutical companies care for you? Pharmaceutical companies care for their wealth, not your health. How to present the global wellness? You know, you have to tell them, you are your own best doctors. That's the only way. Pharmaceutical company doesn't care for your health, they care for their wealth because someone like me, healthy people, we don't use drugs. Statin, well, some cardiologists say statin will increase your heart life. They are wrong. I've seen these ladies, she's stressful, she have high blood cholesterol, she come for the checkup and the doctor say, oh, you have high blood cholesterol, you need to take statin. Soon after she have cramp, the doctor give her NSAID, the painkiller, and then she have stomach ache. This is true stories, by the way, I didn't make it up. The doctors do the gastroscope and give her proton pump inhibitors. Eventually, all of these three drugs to combine, she have kidney failure. She came to see me, a nephrologist, and said, stop all this. Because this conventional medicine turns too far into dysfunctional medicine, you let your body function design. And she survived. One of the best-selling drugs in the world is not statin. It's called proton pump inhibitors. It's even acid secretion in the stomach. Oh, you have to take it every day for the rest of your life to prevent stomach ache, to prevent peptic ulcer. It stops acid production from the stomach and every cell. So the kidney cannot make acid. And doctors don't know that. Proton pump inhibitor increase risk of what? Osteoporosis, gastric cancer, kidney failure, Alzheimer's, and increased mortality. And the worst of all, increased risk of COVID-19. The secret of COVID-19 is not Chinese do it, Americans did it. It's the pharmaceutical company who did it. Since we have the influenza vaccines for the past 10 years, we have more influenza than ever, and you still believe that influenza vaccine prevent influenza. How sad. The fact is right in front of your eyes. So who did COVID-19, who created COVID-19? Pharmaceutical companies, sir. Why? You know, the body acidic is so, and alkali is so important. The fusion of coronavirus into the cell is preventable if your body is alkali. Thanks to this water in front of you, the Icelandic water, pH 8.4, drink it now. If you have a COVID in your mouth, at least it's preventable, it washes it away. But if you drink something called reverse osmosis, water pH 5.9, I'm sorry for you, your COVID may enter your cells. Acidosis and acidemia is different. Don't tell me that, oh, our body is pH 7.4. You don't have cell biology knowledge. It's only blood that has pH 7.4. The entire body is acidic, and we try to secrete acid out. The body maintained by carbonic anhydrase enzymes change the acid into CO2 and then excrete to the lung. When you acid, you breathe more. The bone will be weak with a calcium buffer, and the kidney, the worst of all, will make ammonia that is toxic to the kidney. So that's why if you take proton pump inhibitor, if you eat a lot of acidic food, your kidney will have to work harder because proton pump regulate acid in the body. Don't kill your own proton pump. It's called dysfunctional medicine. In other words, conventional medicine. Eat more alkaline food. That's the way to prolong your life. It's the way to biohack your life. Make it short. It's a vegetarian diet. Okay? So less proteins. Well, doctors, you always tell us about how to biohack it. We already eat steaks today. What we gonna do? Here we are, baking sodas. In Thailand, we have a good baking soda, very cheap. Go and buy it now. If you come to visit Thailand, you need to have these bottles back home. It's called soda mint. Take 3 or 4 tablets twice a day with empty stomachs, and you will biohack your acidosis. Okay? For some of you who want more slides, again, www.heatantiaging.com. Oh, I have plenty of time. Stem cells is a part of it. Oxidative stress, glycation, end product inflammation will kill your cells and also your own stem cells. How to nourishing and rejuvenate your own stem cells. Start back from the first of my lectures, and then come down to using hormone and stem cell treatment. Bioidentical hormone, please do it when needed. Melatonin if you cannot sleep and reach your ages. Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone when your time up, like me. It will help biohacking your life. And like I said before, the best doctor is yourself and no one else. Oh, I don't believe anything you said. Fine to you, because you are your own doctors, right? Who else gonna know better? And when you became in the sick bed, you became having stroke and you understand. Don't spend too much time in your wealth. Spend more in your health. So principles here is the conclusions. Do caloric restrictions, cut down sugar, choose wise the food, lipid, fat wisely, exercise. And don't forget that if you spend too much time for money, it's very stressful. Happy older, live longer. Oh, please, someone. I'm glad I'm here because I see that when anytime I speak, you are laughing and smiling and try to look at you. Please smile for me right now, please. Okay, show me your teeth. Stress is our cause of diseases. And you stress because you think about the past too much. Revenge. Or sometimes you think about future too much. Money. Remember, yesterday is only history. Tomorrow is still mystery. It is today that you have to live through. Today is a gift. That's why they called it present. This is my present to you. I know you want to hear me more about how to biohack your life. August 18 this year, be here at the Patana Hotel, the biggest anti-aging event of Asia. I'm not kidding. I've done this before. The biggest anti-aging event of Asia is called Biohack Your Life. See the details at www.hitantiaging.com. My time's up. ขอบคุณมากครับ Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patana. I really like the tagline, don't want to become a hag, start biohacking, right? Thank you so much for the impactful presentation and all the resourceful information, ladies and gentlemen, on how biohacking and leading a healthy lifestyle can, create a new age of health spanning. Interesting indeed. Now, from our youth and wellness, we move on to our hearts, because heart matters. Our next speaker is Dr. Ross Walker, preventative cardiologist from Sydney, Australia. Dr. Walker is a practicing cardiologist with 40 years of experience, and for the past 20 years, Dr. Walker's key focus has been preventative cardiology, ensuring his place as one of Australia's top health experts. Heart-related diseases has a shockingly high number of 17.3 million a year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, can be prevented. How can it be done? Well, let's hear out from our next presentation, Preventative Cardiology. Please welcome Dr. Ross Walker.
Thank you. Well, good morning. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge one of my dearest friends, David Bohm. I agree with Susie entirely. He's an absolute visionary. And this wouldn't have happened unless David had that vision. And I thank him very much for having me involved with Miskowan. I'm the Chief Cardiologist for Miskowan Health, and we would love to partner with Thailand to make Thailand the preventative cardiology capital of the world. So you've got to ask yourself the question, is cardiovascular disease preventable? Because, as we've just heard, it's the cause of around 17 million deaths around the world every year. COVID, to this point, over 2.5 years, has killed 6.25 million people, but this disease, 17 million people every year, keeps me in a job. But I want to tell you first about a man who wasn't so lucky. He went to the doctor examined him and said, "Look, I'm sorry, sir, you only have 12 hours to live." It was a bit too short to get a second opinion. So he went home and he's sitting there quite depressed, and his wife walked in and said, "What's wrong with you? You look dreadful." He said, "I've just been to the doctor, I've only got 12 hours to live." And the woman said, "Well, how do you want to spend your last 12 hours? He said, "Well, I thought about it. I want to go to bed and make love to you all night." She said, "That's okay for you. You don't have to get up in the morning." On a very cold Saturday afternoon in winter in 1964, a 7-year-old boy was playing at his home. At that time, a family friend, Fred, was visiting, and Fred excused himself to go to the bathroom. The boy walked into the hall, the bathroom door opened, and Fred dropped dead in front of him. Now this boy's deeply religious parents took him into another room and said, "Fred's gone to heaven, he won't be visiting us anymore, you're to forget about the fact that this ever happened." 45 years later, a 52-year-old cardiologist was playing soccer on a cold Saturday afternoon in Sydney. And 20 minutes into the game, the opposition left fullback dropped dead suddenly in front of him. Now, because he was a fullback, the cardiologist resuscitated him. If he was a forward, he would let him die. Those prima donnas don't deserve to live. And the cardiologist kept him alive for 15 minutes until the ambulance arrived. Within 2 hours, he was at the local hospital, one of the best hospitals in Australia, and had bypass surgery, and he's still alive today. And of course, the 7-year-old boy, the 52-year-old cardiologist at the time was me, and this man is still one of my faithful patients. But it made me realise the difference 45 years can make. In 1964, if you had a heart attack, you were dead. But now, with good resuscitation techniques, with good medicine, you can have a completely normal life. This man is still alive in his mid-70s, one of my faithful patients. I've actually convinced him to stop playing soccer. But this is the way medicine's practiced, and it's absolutely wrong. I totally agree with the last speaker. What we do in medicine is we have the ambulance parked at the bottom of the cliff waiting for all of you to fall off. So instead of fixing the rails at the top of the cliff, What do we do in medicine? We build faster ambulances. It doesn't make any sense. So you see here, rub his belly, Ernie, rub his belly. Why wait till the condition gets you? The best treatment of heart disease, the best treatment of cancer, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, is not to get it in the first place. It's called prevention, and it's my view that over 90% of modern diseases are completely preventable. So how do we reverse heart disease? And it is reversible, it is preventable. Firstly, you've got to find out where you are right now. Take the test. Secondly, lifestyle is king. I cannot disagree with one word the last speaker said. Lifestyle is absolute king. Don't walk away from orthodox medicine when you need it, because orthodox medicine does work for some people. And high quality evidence-based supplementation also works. This is where functional medicine comes in, but also having a long-term relationship with a trusted health professional, trusted doctor is so important as well for your long-term health. Now, in 1999, this incredibly handsome young man introduced this technique into Australia called coronary calcium scoring. And I was absolutely vilified by the Australian Cardiac Society for doing so, because they said this test had no proof, despite the 300 papers in the peer-reviewed medical literature to show that it was, at that stage, the best predictive test for heart disease risk, and it continues to be the best predictive test for heart disease risk. And it's my view that all men at 50, all women at 60 should have a coronary calcium score as part of your regular health assessment, not a CT coronary angiogram where you get squirted with dye. You could have an anaphylactic reaction to the dye, it can damage your kidneys, and it also gives you much more radiation. You glow in the dark for 3 days afterwards after that test. So calcium score is low radiation, no calcium, as opposed to very high calcium. The more calcium you have in your arteries, the higher your risk. I'm not suggesting if you have a 0 score, you have 0 risk. I'm saying if you have a 0 score, you have low risk. And here's the thing about heart disease. It's our genes that loads the gun, but it's our environment that pulls the trigger. All disease is genetic. Heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, diabetes, all of our modern diseases are purely genetic. But then if you throw bad lifestyle onto bad genes, you'll push yourself in this way. If you've got the genes for heart disease, this way. If you've got the genes for cancer. And heart disease is due to two genes. 90% of heart disease. 70% is the insulin resistance gene. 20% is lipoprotein little a. And most doctors around the world aren't even measuring lipoprotein little a routinely. So let's talk about insulin resistance. 30% of Caucasians, 50% of Asians, and 100% of people with darker skin carry the gene for insulin resistance. You are born with the gene. And how do you know you have insulin resistance? You have 2 or more of these. After an overnight fast, you have a blood sugar level and a hemoglobin A1C. Just a little plea here, never have a glucose tolerance test. It's 2 hours of your life you'll never get back. It's a completely useless test that gives you no further information over those 2 tests for diabetes. Your blood pressure should be below 135 on 85, but the reality is our blood pressure normally should be 120 over 80. Anything above 135 over 85 is potentially related to insulin resistance. When you have your cholesterols done, doctors are obsessed with damn cholesterol, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you're really, for insulin resistance, focusing on the triglyceride level and the HDL level. Abdominal obesity, we've already heard a fair bit about that. As a male, you want a waist circumference less than 95 centimetres. As a female, less than 80 centimetres. I'm sorry, ladies, I don't make the rules. And all of this leads to cardiac disease, fatty liver, gout, and obesity-related cancers. So as I've already mentioned that, I'll go over that one. So this woman here, we all know, one of the greatest female tennis players ever. Very huge backside. Mightn't look good, but doesn't hurt. What hurts is this. Sorry, go back to that one. It says, impolite as they were, the bears could never help but stare at Larry's enormous deer gut. It's abdominal obesity that's the problem. That's the only thing that's linked to insulin resistance. And you can see here the metabolic syndrome in evolution. What happens with insulin resistance? You end up as, like this fellow here. Sorry, now this one here is lipoprotein little a. 1 in 5 people in this room have a high level of lipoprotein A in your bloodstream, and if you do, you're at a 70% higher risk for heart disease. So I'll tell you this story. This man here, one of my patients, he doesn't have an ounce of body fat, he's in the fitness industry, normal cholesterol, blood pressure, never smoked, not diabetic, and no family history, but the combination of his parents have given him lipoprotein A. With the calcium scoring, anything above 400 is serious. What you want is a 0 score. His calcium score was 8,500. He had coronary artery bypass grafting 9 years ago, sent me an email a couple of years back with a picture of him and his friends winning their latest basketball grand final. It's not moving. Next slide, please. It's stuck. Next slide. Thank you. But it's very important you have appropriate blood tests and that go just beyond cholesterols and blood sugar level. And also now we're moving into the era of genetic screening. And so there are so many new genetic tests. For example, there are over 100 genes that have been coded for cardiovascular disease. And we're getting to the point now where we can code these genes and see what your risk is. But the key to this lecture are what I call the 5 keys to healthy living, from the least important to the most important. So I'll go through those now. Number 1, you cannot be healthy and smoke. Anyone who smokes, you've got to stop. It should be banned as far as I'm concerned. And you see here, this is the real reason dinosaurs became extinct. You should never see alcohol like this. It's okay to have a couple of glasses of red per day. It's not okay to drink too much. And you see here, tell me, Mary, do you use drugs? No, Mother, why? Because you're chopping your onion with a bank card. Anyone who uses any illegal drugs, I'm absolutely for the legalisation of medical cannabis, but you should never legalise smoking marijuana. It is dangerous. Medical cannabis is taken through drops or orally or topically, but it should not be, nothing should ever be smoked. Your lungs are for 2 things. If you've got asthma, to inhale the spray, and for another interesting thing called breathing. Insomnia is very, very common. Try not to lose any sleep over it. 7 to 8 hours per night is as good for your body as not smoking of good sleep. We should all be cultivating good quality sleep habits. And we've already heard the vital importance of nutrition. All of us should be having 2 or 3 pieces of fruit per day, 3 to 5 servings of vegetables per day, and avoiding white death. What is white death? Sugar, white bread, pasta, potatoes, and I'm sorry about this when I'm speaking in Asia, to a lesser extent rice. In Australia, we have far too many calories, and a lot of those are white death. And people that have the coloured fruits, what we call polyphenols, a 30% reduction in death just by having regular fruits and vegetables. And I enjoy a glass of wine each night, one for its health benefits, the rest for my witty comebacks and flawless dance moves. So 1 or 2 glasses of red per day, there is some weak benefit that it does have some help. The doctor asked me to spend at least 1 hour a day on the treadmill. Not like this. 3 to 5 hours a week of exercise is much more powerful than any damn pharmaceutical drug. So when you exercise, it should be 2/3 cardio, 1/3 strength or anaerobic, about 3 to 5 hours a week. It also gives you stability, agility, and flexibility. And by doing that, you reduce your risk for heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, depression by 30%, osteoporosis by 50%. You drop your blood pressure and you sleep better. Please tell me a drug that comes anywhere near that, because there isn't one. And the major cause for loss of independence in the elderly, 70% loss of muscle strength, endurance, and mobility. So what fits your busy schedule better? An hour of exercise a day or being dead 24 hours a day. Everyone who passes through this door brings happiness, some by entering, some by leaving. Happiness, in my view, is the best drug on the planet. Nothing comes anywhere near happiness as prevention of disease. So those 5 things together, write this down please. Now if you do them well, this comes from the Morgan trial in Holland, showing that if you do those 5 things well, you reduce your risk for cardiovascular disease by 83%. So let's move on to orthodox medicine. This is the most commonly prescribed drug in the world, and I don't think it should be used by anybody. I use statins. I use rosuvastatin or pravastatin because they're water-soluble, but I only use them for people who are at high risk for disease. So this study shows, this was out of the US, 13,500 people over 10 years, based on your calcium score. If your calcium score is 0, there is 0 benefit being on a statin, regardless of your cholesterol level. You do not treat cholesterol just because it's high. You treat it because you're at high risk for heart disease. If your calcium score is below 100, there is no statistically significant benefit from being on a statin. Once you get above 100, that's where the benefit kicks in. So I only use statins for people who've had heart attack, stent bypass, or they've got a high calcium score. But if you're having a heart attack, don't go to a naturopath, don't go to the Miskowan clinic, go into a hospital and get a stent in your arteries. It's the best treatment when you are acutely unwell from having heart disease. And the future of healthcare is quite exciting. I've got to hurry through because I've only got a few minutes to go. There are so many things that we're moving towards. Anti-aging therapy, which we've already spoken about, nanotechnology, micropatch, all of the things with genetics. I mean, this is a lecture that could go on for an hour and a half. So Dave Sinclair, who's already been quoted today, he believes that ageing is a disease, it's treatable, and we can treat it within our lifetimes. And I believe it is. There's now some very effective anti-aging techniques that are not at the scope of this lecture. And so many people are taking 10, 15, 20 supplements a day and 3 or 4 pharmaceutical pills. We'll be able to put all of those into one nano pill that you swallow once a day. We're moving towards that. Anything injectable will just be a micropatch. So a weekly injection for something, a biologic, will just be a micropatch on your arm. And there's all the talk about genetics, which I won't go into because I want to just finish off with these things. What about evidence-based supplements? Are there any good studies that support supplements? I could talk about that for an hour. I just want to focus on one thing that I've done research with the Italians. This is bergamot derivatives. Come from this part of Italy here. I'm an honorary Calabrian citizen because of my services to the bergamot fruit, and we've published many papers on bergamot and what it does. I just want to tell you a story. This is an anecdote, this is not a clinical trial. This fellow here was a contestant on an Australian TV show called Excess Baggage, which was a weight loss show, one of those stupid weight loss reality TV shows. I was the doctor on the show. That's his lovely wife. And I got into their skulls about the vital importance of lifestyle. They're on the show being supervised, and I gave them the bergamot, which kickstarts the metabolism and makes it easier to lose weight. After 6 months of doing what they were told to do, this is what happened. 40 kilo weight loss. Now, I'm not saying it was the bergamot, I'm saying it was the whole program that did it. And then there's also the fact that Homo sapiens as a species are a sorry lot. If you're started on any medical therapies, any supplement therapies, after 12 months, 50% of people have stopped. And I want to tell you a story about this man here. He came to me when he was 60, had a coronary calcium score. The score was 150. His plaque volume, which is the fat content, was 144. I put him onto the lifestyle changes. I put him onto a low dose of rosuvastatin. I put him onto the supplements, bergamot and some other things. And he rang me after 3 months and said, Ross, I can't lift my arms. The statins are killing me. I won't do it. I'll do everything else. So he was absolutely adherent to the suggestions, lifestyle, supplements, etc. Came back 5 years later, another calcium score. Calcium had dropped from 150 to 126, but the plaque volume, which is the fat, 144 to 43. So with no drugs, we'd taken 2/3 of the fat out of his arteries. That is an anecdote. It is not a clinical trial. And it's important to have a long-term relationship with a trusted physician, someone you feel you can ring and contact, and that's what we offer at Miskowan. You have a lifelong partnership. So I just want to finish off. This is good. I'm about to finish off. What spurred me on? What actually has changed my direction? Why didn't I just become a standard doctor who prescribes pills and puts people in for surgery? Well, I believe the greatest lessons in life are the hardest things that happen to you. And I had the privilege that the worst experience I've ever had in my life occurred when I was 17 years old in my final year at high school. And it's all about your capacity to respond to the unexpected, the uninvited and the unimaginable. Now, this gentleman here was my best friend at high school. We were inseparable mates. We were going to do medicine together. 1 week before my final exams, he drowned in a swimming pool. And I just plunged myself into my own grief. But what I didn't count on was his grandfather. His grandfather, in my opinion, was one of the greatest ever Australians. This man started the Children's Medical Research Foundation in Sydney many, many years before I'd met him. This is a fellow by the name of Sir Lorimer Dodds. And he was one of those beautiful, wise old men who made everyone feel special. But you'd forgive a grandfather at his grandson's funeral for just wanting to plunge himself into his own grief. But he stood there with the dignity that he always displayed. And when I walked up, he said, "Ross, I need to speak to you. You and Jack were going to do medicine together. Now you have to do it for both of you." And I was hit between the eyes at the age of 17 with that. So I could continue to feel sorry for myself or actually start living for two people. And I'm still living for two people. I'm still speaking in these wonderful forums for two people. And I'd like to feel I'm making a difference. But you see, this is what life's about. Life's not about making the big decision like I had to make that time. It's about making 30, 40, 50, 60 small decisions every day. I won't eat that biscuit. I'll walk up the stairs rather than take the escalators. I won't yell at that fool who just cut in front of me in the traffic. I won't get upset about things. I won't have that extra glass of wine. It's all about making the right decisions, taking you towards good health and happiness or bad health and unhappiness. So is heart disease preventable? Absolutely. And I feel, as one of the greatest minds ever, we cannot solve our current problems with the same thinking we used to create them. This is why we need functional medicine, and this is why Ms. Gawan wants to partner with the people of Thailand, the Thai government, to make Thailand the preventative cardiology capital of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Walker, for sharing those tips through interesting stories and, of course, the future of healthcare as well. So to have a healthy heart, healthy body, we must have a healthy living. All right, moving on to our next presentation. It's on the topic of why choose integrative wellness and functional medicine, not just conventional medicine. Our speaker is Assistant Professor Dr. Mart Maiprasert, Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine Specialist from Bangkok, Thailand. Dr. Mart is an accomplished aesthetic specialist with more than 10 years of experience. His success has come from the application of anti-aging science into his work in the field of aesthetic medicine and cosmetic surgery. Today, Dr. Mart will be introducing us to functional medicine, and that is focusing on the root of the condition. If we can optimize our roots, our whole health tree will thrive. So is it going to be integrative, functional, or conventional? Dr. Mart will tell us more. So a big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Good morning and Sawadee Krab. And I'm honored to be here, and thank you for you to invite me to be here. Okay, for my topic, why integrative or functional medicine or wellness, not only the conventional medicine. I will give you one example of my patient. He is 56 years old male, and he with me, why not? It's just a PDF file. It's not a PowerPoint. I'm not sure. Okay, because it's an order. Okay, it's never mind. Okay, he visit with me with he has palpitation and fainting when diving, and he afraid of the heart disease, as Dr. Ross says, and he went to the emergency room, and after that he admitted with the CICU to rule out or whatever the cardiovascular event, but nothing happened. And after that, he went out, and he has a big evaluation of the body because he felt up is he have any disease in himself, and he found that he had the weight loss, insomnia, and also fatigue. And you see that for the big evaluation is all within normal limit. And after that, he's concerned about his health. So he went to the anti-aging clinic in one private hospital, and he has a big evaluation again. And what happened is still normal. After that, he got only vitamin D3 for the supplement. But he still have the weight loss, insomnia, fatigue, and he visited the CICU for 2 times within 1 year. For the budget, as I asked him that, how about that? is about, for the CICU 2 times, and for the whole investigation, it's about 1 million baht, only 1 year. And after that, his daughter bring him to the psychiatry, and he has diagnosis as panic disorder and got the anxiolytic drugs. Is it got better? Yes. He improved he improved the sleep. He got better, but he think that he looked like a zombie. So he think that his doctor maybe have some false diagnosis. So he he go to the Google and search for the panic disorder. What is it? And he said that, oh, I think that I'm not a panic disorder. He went to the psychiatrist again, and he asked his doctor that, why you think that I'm a panic disorder? And the doctor don't say anything. So he went to the Google again, and he searched for the symptom of him in the Google, and he saw me in the Google. That's it. So why he visit me? And after I evaluate these patients, I will tell you that what happened to these patients. Okay, as the picture of the functional medicine, you see that when you look at the tree, we focus the trunk, we focus the leaf, we focus the fruit, the flower. But the health of the tree is based on the root of the tree. That is all the as function. And this is the important root or important cause of all the disease. When the patient have some symptom, they may diagnose it as a disease, but it's beyond. It is the bottom of the health. That's it. But when the patient doesn't have any disease, they may have something wrong with the root of the disease. Okay, for the root of the disease of this patient, he has gut dysfunction. He has many IgG food allergy. He also has yeast dysbiosis. And for the hormonal imbalance, that is very important in this patient. He has a lot of stress because he worked too much, and he has severe adrenal dysfunctions. And also, the stress affect the other hormone that are subclinical hypothyroidism, and also the testicular hormone, that is the testosterone deficiency. So testosterone is very important for the brain, for the bone, for the muscle, and for the stamina of the male. Okay, so in this patient, after the treatment, what happened? Only 1 month, the fatigue improved, but he still has anxiety. And after 3 months, anxiety disappeared, and sleep improved, and he can quit anxiolytic drugs, okay? And after 6 months, he can exercise, he has good stamina, he has work performance is better. And 1 year, he tried to quit the hormone. He said that, I searched for the alternative medicine, such as the Chinese medicine. I want to try that. Okay, I let him try. But after that, 1 year ago, he visited me again. He said that I want to have the BHRT again. I asked why. In fact, he doesn't have any symptoms. But he said that when I have an accident, I visit to the emergency room again, and he saw a lot of patients waiting for the doctor. He think about the past illness of him, and he says that I want to prevent myself. I don't want to get the illness and go to the hospital again. So that's why he visit me again. Okay, so in this case, I want to tell you that why good health span is better than the lifespan, as Dr. Patana said. And for the functional medicine approach, we try to find the root cause of the disease. It's not only the root cause of the disease, because most of the patient doesn't have any disease, but he has dysfunction of all of this, okay? And all of the root have the connection like the web, because one factor can affect the other causes too. And one condition has many causes, and also one cause maybe have many conditions too. That's it. Okay, what is the difference between functional medicine and conventional medicine? Okay, the functional medicine has cost effective. In fact, for these patients, he visited me the first time for the investigation cost is about 30,000 baht. And for the total cost for 1 year is about 150,000 baht. It looked like it's too expensive compared to the conventional medicine. But in the past of this patient, he paid almost 1 million baht. And what he get, the symptom improved, but he think that he looked like a zombie. The patient don't like the zombie. He tried to find out what are the causes of his symptom. That's it, okay? So for the cause of it, I said that you pay only almost 200,000 baht, 200,000 baht per year, but what you got, okay, you have healthy, you can work it again. So in fact, for the past 2 years, he afraid of he worry about his symptoms and he afraid of his life. So he has the last will and testament. That's it. And because he thinks that he cannot work anymore. Okay. So in this case, I think that the functional medicine is system oriented because that the patients, the body has many systems. Okay. So when you focus only the organ, okay, and you don't focus what happened to the patients. So the patient will visit to, when he have the kidney, he went to the Dr. Patana for the nephrology clinic. When he has the bone fracture, he went to the osteoporosis to consult the orthopedist. So, but the patient have only one body. So, and the system is, the root are the same one, okay? So, the functional medicine is the preventive, but the conventional medicine is kill the disease. That is the end of the pathway. Okay. For the comprehensive diagnostic care of the functional medicine, we don't focus only the functional medicine metric. That's all the 8 root of the cause, but we are all focus on the genetic or the underlying or the trigger. Because if the patient have the same dysfunctional root, but they doesn't have the same disease. And that's why, because the underlying may be different. The lifestyle and environment may be different. Eating, sleeping, stress, and whatever. Okay, and in this case, you can see that what happened to the conventional medicine. Okay, conventional medicine developed from the past that most of the cause of death in the 200 years ago, most of them are focused on the infections. After the conventional medicine developed, we find the cause of the disease, that is the microorganism, and we have the antibiotics, we have vaccination, we have the better hygiene, is disappear. But we still dead, but the cause of death is changed, and we can see that the cause of death change is still remain the same ranking. That is the cardiovascular disease, cancer, metabolic X syndrome, degenerative change, Alzheimer, osteoporosis, and many allergy and autoimmune disease are very important disease now today. But what are the cause of them? Okay, we can see that as a functional medicine, we can see that the genetics, free radical, hormone disturbance, inflammation, toxin and detoxification, nutrition, stress, and many lifestyle are the cause of these two. But for the conventional medicine, we focus the disease on the organ. But for the functional medicine, we focus on what are the dysfunctions. And when the body when you have the harmful signal more than the body to heal themselves, is occur the disease. And as Voltaire says that The art of medicine consists of amusing the patient why nature cures the disease. As Dr. Patana said, like Hippocrates in the past, that our body can heal ourselves, but you must remove an appropriate, you must remove the harmful signal, and you must give an appropriate signal that heal yourself, that is, okay? And not only the way to cure the root of the dysfunction for the dysfunction that I said, the lifestyle intervention is also very important. And when we talk about the lifestyle intervention, we classify the lifestyle as 4 stages. That's for an example, that when you have the disease, for the joint health, you can have the drugs such as the NSAID, such as the paracetamol. But for the prevention, you can have physical activity, exercise, weight loss, and supplement. That's it. So it means that when you have the disease, it is the end of the health. In the bottom of the health, the conventional medicine is suitable for that. But when you are on the cliff, prevention is very important. So how to prevent that? The conventional medicine doesn't say about this. I will tell you that the patient has visited anti-aging clinic in the private hospital before visit me. What happened? Even though they said that anti-aging clinic, because most of anti-aging clinic in the private hospital cannot do full range of the treatment, because they are faced of the hormonal treatment in the private hospital, because most of the functional medicine or anti-aging medicine are not accepted among conventional doctors in Thailand. This is the fact. So that's why I think that today's event will initiate something in Thailand, and it will benefit to many patients, many Thai population, and also foreigner, and also the public health, and also the economies of the Thailand too. Okay, so this is the lifestyle that you can focus. This is a 7 sphere. Not only the hygiene, stop smoking and alcohol, as is also the root, such as the diet, such as the stress, and also the community and purpose signal. What is it? It means that when you want to have a better health, it's not only the body, but it's also the mind and also the spirit that we call the wellness. So this is an important that health are not composed of only, if you want to have a good health, it doesn't mean, the answer, it doesn't mean conventional medicine, okay? So for my conclusion, I mean that if the patient has already clinical symptoms and they don't have any disease, when they screening for whatever laboratory testing is normal, what happened? It means that functional medicine and anti-aging medicine and wellness can improve their health to have the optimal health. But if the patient have definitely clinical diagnosis, is lucky or unlucky, I'm not sure, because most of the patients that have symptoms, they want some diagnosis, but most of them doesn't have any diagnosis, okay? Doesn't meet any diagnosis criteria, okay? So for the one that have diagnosis, they think that, oh, I can heal, I get better. But you know that conventional medicine treat only the symptom. They give the drug to suppress the symptom. The symptom disappear, but the patient look like the zombie, but they want the good health. So anti-aging and functional medicine and wellness or whatever, and allopathic medicine can integrate to the conventional medicine as the integrative medicine or complementary medicine, okay? So integrative and functional medicine address the underlying causes of the disease using a system-oriented approach and engaging both patient and practitioner. So I have an education for Thai population to understanding what is the functional medicine, what is the anti-aging medicine that is different from the conventional medicine. And most of the people happy and they use the knowledge to improve themselves, to heal themselves, and to help their family too. And so this is very important. That's different from the conventional medicine that is based on the drug, and you give the drug to the patient. You don't give any information and how to improve yourself, and even though how to have a good lifestyle to improve your health too. And this is the evolution in the practice of medicine that will change in the next century. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mart Maiprasert. Thank you for those insights. In order to have improved health outcomes, it looks like we have to have integrated treatment, functional medicine, combining with the best of modern medicine in order to personalize, individualize the treatment and also preventative approaches. We have covered 3 topics so far. There are plenty more coming up your way, but how about we take a quick coffee break? We do have coffee and refreshments at the lobby outside at the foyer. And before you go, since this afternoon there will be parallel sessions, so just to get an idea which topics, which sessions you'd like to attend, there is a list at your table. The list looks like that. So just kindly tick for the sessions you'd like to attend, and our staff will be collecting those lists while you're on the way out to enjoy coffee. So the next session will be a panelist discussion. It will resume in 20 minutes from now. That is 11:15 Bangkok time. So do enjoy the coffee break, and for those of you joining us virtually, don't forget to come back in 20 minutes. 11:15, see you right here in this ballroom. Thank you.